Test 1, test 2. Test 1, test 2. Test 1, test 2. Do a quick audio check before we do our Steelers 2020 mock draft simulator. Hopefully we'll get some people in the chat. I'm sure we will. Just for a little stream today, talk you guys through it. Hey Brian, Steve, Samantha, thank you guys so much for being here doing a Steelers mock draft. Going to wait a couple minutes for people to get in the chat. Hopefully see it's out there. I'm going to probably tweet out the link, adjust some things on YouTube's end to get some people to watch. Yeah, do I sound good? Yep, thank you. Yeah, just kind of a last second thing. I was hoping to do one last mock draft here, just me today. By the way, just finished up some work and had a couple minutes, and before I order some food tonight, figured I'd do this exercise with you guys. I had a lot of fun with it last time going through the mock with you guys here, and yeah, Braden, I'm with you on the draft for sure. Yeah, Brian, just me for right now. Of course, Dave will be back for the Monday regular stream, but just me right now. Kevin, thank you so much. Grant, thank you. Wes, I'm doing well. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll start the draft here in a moment. As always, we are using FanSpeak. I have the premium account, though I don't know we'll do any trades because I don't think the trades show up well on your guys' end, and it's kind of hard to navigate that. So, Grant, thank you very much for being here. Mark, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. Pink King Colton, I don't know if I'm going to live stream the draft. I'm more tempted to do it today as opposed to a time where the Steelers are on the clock, because obviously once they start picking, then work gets really crazy for me and I just don't have the time to live stream. So I might do something, but of course I'll be on Twitter as well. Dave, Hugo, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it, guys. Running back at 49, that's possible. I'm not going to say that it's not. But Taylor's there, Cam Akers, makes a lot of sense. Brian, do I think interior offensive line falling is best case? I mean, I don't know if any of the interior guys are going to fall. I mean, really, by the time 49 rolls around, maybe only one or two interior offensive linemen have been taken, whether that's a Cushenberry or a Rees or whoever the case. So I don't know if anyone's going to really fall. It's really just kind of more projected to where they're going to go. But let me put up the Steelers Depot image for just a moment here so I can tweet out the link and I think edit the title of this as well, because it's probably just says question and answer, and I want to let you guys know that it's a mock draft. For some reason, YouTube just copies over the last title you had for your previous video in your live stream, and I do want to edit that here briefly. So let me just kind of walk and talk here with you guys, figure out the best way to do that. Alright, give me 1 second. And feel free to ask any other questions you guys have before we start our mock draft, which we'll do here momentarily. Steelers mock draft simulator. Alright, let's change that really quickly here. I'm excited too, Nick. Braden, what specific running back would be the best fit for Pittsburgh? I think Jonathan Taylor and Cam Akers are the two that fit the best based on the historic trends of size. Essentially, it's the one thing I go back to, is what guys just are the biggest. 220 plus pounds is basically in the wheelhouse. Taylor's 228. Akers just missed that mark at 217. And I just think power is kind of what they gravitate towards more. As opposed to speed. Now, I would like to see a different flavor in the backfield, someone that's more athletic, someone more explosive, someone more dynamic, but, okay. The trends have been that they've gone with bigger size at the position. So, okay, I got the title of the stream changed, so we can start our mock draft process. Let me go through some of these questions here, and then we will begin. Samantha, if a bunch of front office execs were to say rent an apartment together, couldn't they do the draft together? You're doing like a Three's Company kind of thing there, Samantha. Basically, no. The NFL, I think, has cameras in everyone's house to just basically legislate to make sure everyone's drafting separately. So, I guess you couldn't pretend like, oh, Kevin and Mike and Art Rooney, we just decided to get an apartment, just something with a view. Like, I don't think it would work. I don't think that could be a loophole to the system. Yeah, mutated genome. I can't see Cincinnati trading out of number 1. I mean, I heard the report that Miami wants to go up to 3 and then package 3 and 5 to try to get 1. But I still, if Burrow's your guy, and he is for Cincinnati, then he's your guy, and nothing it should make you change your mind, no matter what the offer is. Michael, do you think the Steelers will have a successful season next year when they don't have many draft picks? I mean, I think the benchmarks of how successful their season will be based off of guys like Ben and Connor and Juju and Bud Dupree as opposed to draft picks, regardless of how many picks they were going to have. I mean, those were kind of going to be your tells and indicators of how good of a season it would be. So I think it'll be a good season for Pittsburgh, and I don't think the draft class was going to make or break their next season. Of course, though, it can help, and you want guys that can help you right away. Yeah, I heard a lot about Bryce Perkins from Virginia. But if that happens, it wouldn't be late day 3 and potential UDFA. No, Reginald, not hurting my feelings. Hey, you don't like my mock draft? That's okay with me. Not everyone is, and I respect that. All right, let me get going here. Do 7 rounds. Probably not going to do any trades here. I didn't like the Matt Miller board last time. I do like Draft Countdowns. Draft Countdown with Scott Wright's one of my go-to websites. So we'll use his board. I haven't even looked at it, but maybe I can preview it here just to see if it's decent. How many guys? At least there's enough names on this list. Okay, this is the one that I had been basically using, so we'll go ahead and roll with this one. Alex, of all the players most likely to be there in round 2, who do you hope the Steelers take, not who do you think Colbert will take? I don't know if I have that one name, especially because in a year like this where it's pick 49, it is really hard to know who's going to be there or not. It's hard for me to hate anything that this team does in the draft at 49, unless it's quarterback or cornerback, both of which I think are virtually 0% chance of happening. So I don't know if I have that one guy. I would love to get, Justin Madubuike, the defensive tackle from Texas A&M, for example. That would make me really happy. But I think it's hard for me to be really angry about the direction they choose. Even running back, wouldn't be my personal favorite, but something that I would understand and would not be a terrible pick. Certainly would not, especially if Jonathan Taylor, for example, were to slip. But we'll see. Again, I don't have any super strong feelings because this year is just weird in so many different ways. Akers went to my rival high school. I'd cheer for him if he's a Steeler, but not buying his jersey. Fair enough, Brian. I respect that. All right, let's begin the draft. And again, we're not going to do any trades. We have our pick here at 49. So we'll just go through the first round. I'll try to have it scroll down so you guys can see everyone going off the board. Mock draft starts at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. I believe it's at 8 tomorrow. It's 7 or 8. Somebody check me on that. And then Saturday, as far as I know, it'll start at noon Eastern time. Devin, I don't want us to draft a quarterback in the second round, but I'm nervous if Ben Roethlisberger goes down that we'll be stuck with Mason and Duck. Understood, but I think you want to build around Ben and not just assume that Ben's going to get hurt because, if Ben gets hurt, even if you draft a quarterback, really how successful of a year are you going to have? Maybe better than you would if, you had Mason or Duck, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl, and that's kind of the ultimate goal. So you plan for the best case scenario, you draft for the best case scenario, and that's a healthy Ben Roethlisberger. So round 1 done here. Let's kind of go through it here briefly. Fairly chalk. I had Simmons going to Las Vegas in my full 7-round mock draft. You guys can check out on Steelers Depot. Also on Steelers Depot, we have a draft packet with everything you need to know, all the information about combine interviews and FaceTimes and mock drafts and podcasts and big boards, player profiles, all in the draft packet, sticky to the top of the page on Steelers Depot. There's a surprise there at 19. So just kind of scroll through a lot of receivers. That big receiver run that's expected to happen. T. Higgins rounds things out. So we'll go into round 2. Yep, Wes, I love Madubuike. We're getting a trade here to start. I'm not trading up. Sorry, Chris Ballard. Yeah, I'm not trading up here with only 6 picks. Just decline all that. And we'll just start the round because I said I'm not going to do any trades right now. Corey, where can I watch your draft without cable? I'm sure there'll be streams of it somewhere. I don't know exactly where the best place to find that would be, though, but I'm sure there'll be a stream on Reddit or wherever you get your streams at. All right, we are coming up on the clock. Are we on the clock? We are. So take a look at some of these last picks. Wilson, Dobbins, Davidson, there goes Jonathan Taylor. Zach Bond fell a little bit. Cushenberry, Winfield, Cleveland. A lot of guys there that I would have considered here at 49. So the top of the board, as you can see, top players listed for Scott Wright's big board is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back from LSU. Jeremy Chin, safety linebacker from Southern Illinois. You got KJ Hamler. Board doesn't look amazing. Got Michael Pittman, Matty Buke is there. So let me know what direction you guys want to go to. I'll kind of scroll through some of the players here at key positions the team could target. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 47. Cam Akers at 68. So let me know what direction you guys think we should start looking at. KJ Hamler, Claypool, Pittman, Chenault. Dave says Matty Buke or Pittman. Get some other thoughts in here. See what happens at tight end. Got Alberto, Trotman. Wes says Pittman's great. I take Matty Buke. Noxley says Matty Buke. So does Grant. See these offensive linemen. Nothing to tackle. Robert Hunt's interesting from Louisiana. Hennessy. Got Matt Hennessy, the guy that I mocked to the Steelers ultimately. I have them going up 49 with Matt Hennessy from Temple. Pittman. Someone says Chase Claypool or Pittman. Alright, so I think we're down to basically Pittman or Matty Buke. That seems to be the top two. So let me know in the comments right now, and whoever you guys will drive this pick. Whenever I get more comments from Matty Buke or Pittman, that's going to be, I think, the selection here. Mark, can you watch it through Game Pass with it being free at the moment? I'm not sure. My guess is no, but don't quote me on that. I would go on Game Pass if you have an account and check it out and see if it's listed on there. I don't know exactly if it's free. I'm just watching on a cable, so I haven't had to really search for any other positions. A lot of Matty Buke here to start. Samantha says Pittman. Looking like it's going to be Matty Buke. There's also Gallimore, but I think I don't want to throw out more names here. Claypool, anything else is stupid, tall, and fast. Pittman isn't fast enough. I'm getting a late surge here for Pittman. Oh, this one's close. This one's very close. I think both would make a lot of sense. Pittman certainly feels like a Steeler and fits all the boxes. I think I was going to say Claypool, but it's just sometimes it's some of the same people. Matthew says Gallimore or Matty Buke, so he wants nose tackle heavy. Yeah, I mean, the receiver class is really deep. That was one reason why I pushed against the idea of them taking a receiver at 49. Is it possible? Absolutely, but I do think the depth of the receiver class will tell them they can wait on that position a little more than, say, interior offensive line, defensive line, or even running back, to be honest. Flip a coin. Do I have a coin? I do have a quarter next to me. But I don't know if you guys will trust me. I want you guys to make the pick here. Take a receiver next. If you take Pittman, it pretty much means Juju will have to leave as a free agent. Ironic. I don't know if it would have to mean that, but I understand the point you're making, Steve. Oh, I think we're on the clock here. Akers. Mutated Genome wants Akers. I'm going to go Matty Buke. I'm going to get my wish here. And I think it was pretty split. Maybe lean towards Matty Buke at the top to be our new nose tackle. I think, again, the depth of the receiver class means we're going to find good value at wide receiver at 102 even. So check out the line. There goes Claypool. Some receivers. There goes Chenault, Gallimore, and Jordan Elliott. Rounds things out to Seattle. So we'll be waiting a while here at 102. Yeah, Wes. Definitely, there was no bad answer there. I will say, hypothetically, if it came down to what I think the Steelers would do between Matty Buke or Pittman, they go Pittman. Really feels like a Steeler just in my gut when I wake up in the morning. You know, who feels like a Steeler? It's guys like Antoine Winfield Jr. and it's guys like Michael Pittman. Based on Steelers' comments, Edwards-Helaire will most likely be the actual pick. He's a little different body type, but I love Edwards-Helaire. He's my number 2 back on my board, only behind Jonathan Taylor. He'd be a lot of fun and again a different dynamic in this offense. Though there would be a question about big playability and if he would have that because he runs 4.6s and he's not known for the long speed. Could have gotten Roy later. Yeah, Bravion Roy from Baylor. It's a good sleeper candidate. So here goes Alex Highsmith at 101. The watch out for Alex Highsmith becoming a Steeler in real life, not in this mock, obviously, but I think they're going to take an edge guy a lot earlier than what people expect. Looking at Curtis Weaver and Alex Highsmith from Charlotte. A couple guys to watch out for. So we're on the clock now. Top guys. Devon Hamilton already took a nose tackle there. Tyler Biadasz from Wisconsin. Zach Moss from Utah. At receiver, it's getting pretty thin. You really feel this run on receivers, though. I have talked about the depth of it, but in these mock drafts, you really feel the run a wide receiver. Yanni Golden, Hightower, Prochet, KJ Hill, a lot of good receivers already off the board. So you got Biddish, Joe Reed. I like Joe Reed from Virginia. Dynamic kick returner, kind of a bit of a gadget player. That would not be a bad pick. Do we do it right here, though? Is a little questionable. Tight end, Bryant Hopkins. Parkinson, Colby Parkinson. Stanford kind of has a Steelers feel to him. Not much at tackle. Interior, Damian Lewis. John Simpson from Clemson. Watch out for him. I think he's the guy they're going to like a lot. A big, powerful guard who played through an ankle injury his senior year. Biddish at center. It's probably the only real center candidate. Not much at the edge right now. Off-ball linebacker, Davian Taylor from Colorado. Jacob Phillips, Yobachi, kind of interesting guy. Safety, Brandon Jones, Kayvon Wallace. So let me know what you guys think here. I'll go back to the big board, but I've kind of run through all the positions of need. I do like safety, though. Do want to start thinking about a safety. But do you go defense back-to-back in a year where obviously offensive help is probably going to be the focus? Jones, Biddish, Kayvon Wallace. I like Kayvon Wallace a whole lot. Certainly one of the safety candidates who feels like they could become a Steeler, right up there with Brandon Jones. Got to try to get some sort of consensus here, otherwise I'm going to have to make the pick. A lot of Biddish. The only concern with Biddish, and I know in our mock rule it's not going to matter, but there are concerns about the medical, I think a shoulder, a hip with him. Strobridge, yeah, I just don't know where you play Strobridge, but he's an interesting guy. He's an easy mover, 275 pounds. Is Jones still there? Which Jones? I'm not sure. Brandon Jones? Brandon Jones is still there. Gibson? Yeah, I've liked Antonio Gibson a lot. Is he still on the board? Well, you guys are convincing me. What about Antonio Gibson? Running back, receiver from Memphis. He played a lot of receiver in college. I view him as a running back at the next level. That's kind of that dynamic playmaker that can wear a lot of hats. Still a lot of Biddish fans. So I think we're down to Biddish or Antonio Gibson. So let me know, chat. Whoever wins will be the pick here. We're gonna wait on safety. I think we want to go offense here and address that side of the ball. So Tyler Biddish from Wisconsin, excuse me, or Antonio Gibson from Memphis. Salvage this draft, take Gibson. I would lean Gibson, but it's up to you guys. You guys tell me. Getting a lot of Biddish fans in here. Biddish says Knoxley, and then Braden and Matthew and Corey. But I do get the point of the offensive playmakers, because you do definitely want to add those. I like Gibson a lot, Grant. I think he's a really interesting, intriguing guy with a skill set that's pretty unique in this class. The only concern from a real-life perspective is the lack of production. Matthew says just not a whole lot of center guard depth afterwards. I'd rather get the need than the projection. That's fair. Alright, so I think Biddish has probably won this one. So, although I would go Gibson, you guys are my scouting staff, and I'm going to listen to you guys and go Tyler Biddish here at 102. We're picking soon anyway, so maybe Gibson will still be there. Alright, we're going to head into the fourth round. So far we have drafted, for our purposes, nose tackle Justin Matabuke from A&M, and Tyler Biddish, the center from Wisconsin. We got two picks in the fourth round at 124 and 135. We'll see if Antonio Gibson is there. If he's there, I think he's going to be the guy. Does he last, though? Prochet, Hopkins, Hill. There goes Gibson to Denver. Broncos steal him away. And there goes Brandon Jones. Oh no. And Darrington Evans, too, from App State, who the Steelers have actually shown interest in. Dave says Chad is fired. Yeah, don't fire me. Fire the chat. Alright, so we got A.J. Dillon from Boston College. Big back. Tested remarkably well at Indy. At safety, Kayvon Wallace from Clemson. Probably the top guy here. Kenny Robinson, who played in the XFL. J.R. Reed, Geno Stone, Uncle Kid from Newcastle. We got Wallace. You're not going to go offense, though? I feel like you do have to add a playmaker, though. At receiver, Gabriel Davis, Donovan Peoples-Jones, big triangle numbers, Joe Reed. Mentioned him earlier. Tyler Johnson from Minnesota. Quez Watkins from Southern Miss had a really good combine, but I love Jajuan Jennings, even though he did not test well. Perfect for Kayvon Wallace. So you guys would want to go Kayvon Wallace over an offensive player? I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to disagree with you guys heavily, I think, in this chat. Running back, I think it comes down to maybe A.J. Dillon versus Kayvon Wallace. Either you're going to go with some sort of offensive help in terms of a skill position, or safety depth, which you'll get an argument from me about safety depth. But West says the values with Wallace. Can we get Peoples-Jones at 135? Potentially, yeah. We are picking at 9 picks. That's fair. Yeah, Wallace, wait for Peoples. Alright, I think chat here is going Kayvon Wallace, going to be our slot, special teams guy. He was known for being at Clemson's pro day. And we're going to go Kayvon Wallace here, 124, and hope to get offensive player at 135. There goes Peoples-Jones. That's what we get for waiting. He goes to Philadelphia. See if there's another weapon for us. There goes John Simpson. And we're on the clock at 135. Alex, I've done a ton of these. The only was to maximize potential contributors as wide receiver first and running back and get a safety and nose after that. Well, I went with the chat here. Alright, so what do we have? I like Joe Reed from Virginia. That's kind of my first thought. That was actually the first player I profiled this year for my player profiles, and I was really impressed with him. A.J. Dillon from Boston College is still there. I think we have to go offense here. I think there's no debate about that. I've already taken offensive lineman at tight end. There is Colby Parkinson, Devin Asiasi from UCLA, Dalton Keene from Virginia Tech. I think a sleeper in a pretty weak tight end class. So I think we're down to basically Dillon versus, I mean, we could discuss receiver, but I probably would go towards Joe Reed versus, I guess, Colby Parkinson. But the tight end class is drying up pretty quick, and it wasn't too good to start with. But I think receiver, I wouldn't want to wait any longer than the 4th round to get a receiver. One other receiver to mention, potentially, if they do wait, or even if they happen to maybe trade back and double up at a spot, is this guy down here, Marquez Callaway from Tennessee. A report on him on Steelers Depot. Dave T. Thomas on his podcast, or when he was on the podcast with Dave and I talked about him as being someone the Steelers were looking at. Has to get better defeating press coverage, but good for him, and kind of a James Washington type where he's a jump ball machine. Jajuan Jennings. It's too early for Jajuan Jennings. He's way down there. Is he? Where's he at? He's 207, yeah. And as much as I love him, I can't draft a receiver that ran 4.72 in the 4th round. Whatever happened to Thad Moss hype? Yeah, I learned more about Thad Moss personally and realized I was buying into the hype. Lawrence Cager, 6'5". Yeah, Thad Moss. Yeah, Thad Moss got hurt at the combine. They discovered that foot fracture and he couldn't test, but he wouldn't have tested well anyway. Tyler Johnson, Charlie Warner's still there. We gotta get a consensus receiver because I think we're all over the map right now. So let me know of these receivers. Pick your favorite, and whoever gets the majority, it'll probably be a pretty split decision, a plurality. But that's gonna be the guy here. Yeah, also Hugo, once a team signed Ebron, that kind of took tight end off. But even if it didn't, Thad Moss was going to be a day 3 pick. Yeah, I was the same way, Grant. Parkinson, Reed, Patman, because it sounds like Pittman. Fair enough. Patman did well. He had I think he ran like 4.48 at the combine. Reed, tell us about Joe Reed. Yeah, he's a gadget guy. Obviously, he's from Virginia, which would probably pique Tomlin's interest. He's got good speed, really explosive kick returner. The first draft profile I did this year was on Joe Reed. I think we got enough in Joe Reed here, and I don't want to belabor this thing. So we're going to go Joe Reed to give us our first wide receiver in the deep receiver class. And from there, we'll be waiting a while. So we're going to be waiting for the rest of the 4th round. Skip the 5th round. You guys have any Steelers questions, draft questions you want to ask while we kind of fly through things here before we get to round 6, then feel free to ask in the chat. And I'll scroll down here so you guys can see the picks that go off. But thank you guys so much for supporting the site. We had a really good draft year. Our team did a fantastic job of profiles and big boards and just looking at every sort of angle when it comes to the draft and who the Steelers could be interested in. And obviously a very weird year for a variety of different reasons. So, guys, any other questions, feel free to ask, and then we'll get to our next pick here as we're done with the 5th round. From your gut, which position did the Steelers draft at 49? I really don't know. I mean, I guess I would interior offensive lineman, so I'm going to say an offensive lineman of some sort, probably more likely interior as opposed to a tackle, because the top tackles are almost certain to be gone by that point. But I go offense, and from there, I think it's interior offensive line, running back, or receiver. Have I given up on Scotty? No, I haven't given up, but I can't count on him in any sort of way. He wouldn't affect any sort of draft plans I make. What do you think about the reports of the Dolphins trying to get pick 3 just to trade that and 5 to the Bengals to get Burrow? That seems like a galaxy brain move that wouldn't work out. The Bengals aren't trading out of number 1. I mean, that'd be insanity. The Dolphins can try, but Bengals aren't moving. I can tell you that. All right, we are here in round 6, 1 pick. Again, we've drafted so far Justin Madubuike, nose tackle from A&M, Tyler Biodesh, center from Wisconsin, Clemson safety Kayvon Wallace, and Virginia wide receiver Joe Reed. So 2 offense and 2 defense. Top of the board here, Evan Weaver, kind of a Tyler Matakevich clone from Cal, Khalil Davis, him and his brother in this draft, Brian Cole from Mississippi State safety, Quez Watkins. Have not addressed yet an edge rusher. Have not taken an edge rusher. I haven't taken a running back, but I'm okay with that. I can live. Let's see. Inside linebacker, also a potential need. Is Muse gone? Let's see. I don't know where they would have Tanner Muse listed at. See, at safety? I think Tanner Muse is gone. I don't know that for sure, but it does not appear he's anywhere. I do like, in terms of an edge class where there aren't really a lot of talent, Casey Toohill from Stanford. This is a guy that's kind of been on my radar for a little while now. Not Pinckney. I would take Weaver or Pinckney as, I think, undraftable. I mean, the two ran like over 5 seconds. Muse is, I don't know where he was listed at, unless he's way down there. No, I don't see Tanner Muse. To me, he's a linebacker, just in terms of where he will play. Jalen Hawkins from Cal, he got overshadowed by Ashton Davis, but that's a guy with good ball skills. Evan Weaver is there. That might be one of the top players, but also edge rusher. I mean, you do have to think about, there's no depth really behind Dupree and Watt, a little bit with Ola. Tuzar was, of course, last year's everyone's, camp crush, but Dupree on the tag this year does create a lot of uncertainty. Watch out for Sean Bradley from Temple in terms of an off-ball linebacker the Steelers showed interest in. Okay, he was listed as a safety. Okay, well, I don't think he's there either way. Edge. Yeah, so you're going to go Evan Weaver, or you want to go an edge basically with, let me actually click here. Tuska from North Dakota State's kind of viewed as a sleeper. That's really the only other edge guy that jumps out to me right now. Some of these guys like Coe is not really an edge, I would say. Coleman, I think, is an interesting undrafted player who did okay at the combine, but I probably would not spend a draft pick on him. But yeah, the edge class is tough, but Toohill to me could be an edge, even though he's listed with the off-ball linebackers. And you got Kaliki Hudson, a local project from McKeesport. Chauncey Rivers. Tuska, I don't know if I really watched him yet, but his production was obviously off the charts, and he tested remarkably well as well. Weaver. Everyone wants Evan Weaver. Is that you guys good with Evan Weaver, if that's what we go with here? Definitely a quick and very competent replacement for Tyler Matakevich. We got Justin Stranad from Wake Forest. I actually don't know a whole lot about him. I know he was at the combine, I believe. Alright, I think we're going to go with Evan Weaver here. Get ourselves some inside linebacker depth. And then we'll have one more pick here in round 7, and that'll be our draft. Then I'll stick around for a couple more minutes and answer any other questions you guys have, and then that'll be it. And of course, I will have draft reaction videos, not tonight because obviously the Steelers won't have done anything, but later on Friday night and Saturday and over the next couple of days, we will have draft reaction videos to whoever they do select. They may come out really late at night because I'll have to do some other work before that, but I definitely will have draft reaction videos coming up in the next couple of days. Corey says, update, you can watch the draft on the NFL app. That is good information. Thank you, Corey. I think it was Blake Ferguson. Not the only, but the first long snapper taken. Alright, here is the board for pick 232, 7th round, our last pick. Again, to refresh who we've taken so far. Madubuike, Biodesh, Wallace, Reed, and Weaver. So I have not addressed edge, running back, tight end, corner, you could argue. Those are the big spots we've yet to address. Let me scroll down here and show you guys the whole list here. Kaliki Hudson still there, but we did just take Evan Weaver. Got Michael Turk, the punter. Kind of gives me a Sepulveda feel. Got some corners. Lavert Hill, Stephen Sullivan. Could be an interesting stash player. Sean McCune's more of a traditional blocker type. Have not taken a Michigan player. That is a fair point. I think I have sinned if I don't do that. Let me just click through some of the names here. Receiver, Freddie Swain. There's still Marquez Callaway, Tyree Cleveland, Florida. Matt Cole from McKendree, like a D3 player that actually has a shot to get drafted. Tight end, Sullivan could be a stash player. You like Patrick Taylor, Gabar? I didn't like Patrick Taylor. I just thought he was very stiff, very straight line-ish, and just was not a big fan of his tape. Even last year before he got hurt this year. Got Kinley from Georgia, the big guard from the Bulldogs. Stepniak from Indiana, could be a sleeper. Really strong, really tough dude. Throckmorton, very versatile. Coatney, 308 pounds. Yeah, Benjamin Victor from Ohio State. No Ohio State player. Yeah, we could fill that. Yeah, I would have taken Antonio Gibson as well. Good bar. But here in the 7th round, what do you want to go here? We took Kayvon Wallace, so I guess we don't need a safety. I'd be interested in Sullivan from LSU as a stash player, just kind of a 7th round dart throw. He's very raw. He got switched from receiver to tight end this past year. He's long, lanky. He's got a lot of work to do as a blocker, so he's kind of like Scotty, but a little more advanced with some big jump ball ability. Siwoo from TCU. I gotta learn how to pronounce his last name. Yeah, he's way down on the list here. The last name on the list on Scott Wright's big board. Malcolm Perry from Navy. I think he's gonna be a Patriot. That's just my, the Belichick Navy connection is pretty strong. Callaway. We could go. Is Callaway still there? Yeah, Grant. Sullivan has gotten a lot of comps to Darren Waller for sure. So all right, here's what it's gonna come down to. We got Marquez Callaway from Tennessee, Siwoo from TCU, the running back, or Sullivan, the tight end from LSU. You guys tell me which of those three, and whoever gets the most votes is going to be our pick here. And we did take a Clemson player, Mark. We did take Kayvon Wallace, so we've checked the Tigers box. Or Jeff Thomas from the U, right? He's from Miami. Yeah. But you guys let me know, or if not, then I'll just make a pick here. Callaway, Sullivan, Callaway, Jeff Thomas. We got 2 for Callaway, 1 for Sullivan, 1 for Jeff Thomas. Gabar's trying to get the Jeff Thomas band going. I don't think it's going to work. Sullivan, so tied up 2-2 between Sullivan and Callaway. So we'd be double dipping at receiver if we take Callaway, but that's not a terrible thing in a class like this. Sullivan says Heath. Heath, you're going to break the tie. We got some other people I think have said Sullivan as well, like Grant. So Stephon Sullivan is going to be our pick in the 7th round, so that will be our draft. We got Madubuike, Biodesh, Wallace, Reed, Weaver, and Sullivan. Definitely staying Power 5 heavy, which makes sense in a draft like this where there are so many unknowns. As they finish up the rest of the 7th round, who's Mr. Irrelevant? It's Charlie T from Portland State. Warren could be a sleeper. Montez, and it is Wartell, the center. And it's just Mr. Irrelevant. So, to review our picks, Madubuike, Biodesh, Wallace, Reed, Weaver, and Stephon Sullivan. Thank you guys for checking out the mock draft with us. I'll hang out for a couple more minutes. If you guys want to ask any other last-second draft-related questions or just Steelers questions, feel free. And I'll be more than happy to answer them. Of course, I'll be on Twitter if you guys are on Twitter and can talk there as well. And like I said, we will have draft reaction videos on YouTube. Won't be live streams. Probably do Monday's live stream, and we'll have our first reaction post-draft live like that. But I will have posted videos for reactions then. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for being here. Juju Smoker 549ers, Total Smoke. No, ignore it. Sam, on a Steelers board, how would you stack up Ayuk against Mims, Rager, Pittman? I have Mims 1. I think Ayuk and Rager are a little similar. Rager might be a bit faster, but they're both kind of big play, explosive guys. Ayuk's pretty raw. He was a JUCO transfer. I would lean Ayuk 2. Then it comes close between Rager and Pittman. Obviously, you're getting 2 different types of receivers there. I think I would go Pittman 3 and Rager 4. Rager's a guy to watch at 49 for Pittsburgh. I think we haven't talked about him a whole lot. There's still a decent chance he goes first round, but if he does slip in this deep receiver class, do watch out for Jalen Rager, the TCU receiver. at 49. Mutated genome, where was the greatest need? An offensive playmaker, running back, or receiver? You can make cases for both. Obviously, running back is probably a little better pathway to play time immediately as opposed to receiver, but I think you got to be 4 deep at receiver to feel comfortable at the NFL level. And I think that while the talent is strong, closer to the top for both positions, the depth at receiver is certainly a whole lot better. So you can make a really good case for both. Just trying to get an offensive playmaker, a weapon, trying to add a different element of just dynamic player to the squad. So there's a good debate to be had about that. That's why I like someone like Antonio Gibson from Memphis, who can kind of wear all those kind of hats. Braden, thank you very much. Mark, weird question, but is there a reason some teams get new jerseys this year and others don't, and are the Steelers due to get any new ones anytime soon? I don't have any special insight into the process for that. I'm sure that's just a marketing thing. It's not where they couldn't do it if they didn't want to. It's just, how long have you had your old jerseys? Do you want to refresh whatever the marketing team comes up with? But I'm very happy with the Steelers jerseys, and I don't want them to come up with new ones. I want them to stay with the jerseys they have. Thank you, Hugo, very much for being here. No problem. Sam, will you buy Dave a new TV if they take it right and make it 49? No, I will not. I still think there's a chance. I've warmed up to the idea slightly. I still think it's a lot less likely than what some people think. But depending on the board, and I think Tomlin seemed a little more open to the idea than Colbert, to be honest with you. And check out the top of the draft here. Burrow and Young. We'll see what happens, in terms of the reality of it, what happens tonight. Detroit at 3 really starts the draft. We know they want to trade out. There's a lot of smoke there, and there's certainly fire. Does Miami want to come up? Do the Chargers want to come up sitting here at 6? We know that Atlanta, the Saints want to be aggressive. I mean, are they going to go up that high? It's going to be really costly. They'd have to sell the farm for it. But, where's Tua going to go? The order of these receivers, you could put him in any way. Simmons, where's he going to fit, just in terms of who's going to take that chance on him? I mean, there's a big question mark about that. Not a question mark on pure talent, but just overall fit and scheme. Some maybe medical concerns with a guy like Jajuan Kinlaw. Where are these tackles going to go? How big is that run going to be? I can't see Okudah falling to 18, but if Miami does get some there, then that'd be a huge get for them. Austin Jackson could go higher than some people think. Again, how many receivers go? Wilson's not going to fall to 26, I don't think. Kenneth Murray, T. Higgins, Ruiz, Glad need to finish things out in this mock draft. I think the chances of double dipping are pretty low when you only have 6 picks. I think you just have to try to fill other needs. Obviously, there's a value component if you're day 3 and there's a really good receiver sitting there or whatever. That's possible, but with only 6 picks, it's a lot less likely that they double dip because you just don't have the draft capital to kind of take that quote-unquote luxury, and there isn't a position where the need is so bad where you feel like you need to get 2 guys. I mean, one guy could kind of fill the hole at a lot of these spots, like receiver and safety and etc. I'm more okay with running back at 49 than I was a few weeks ago. Still prefer they don't, says Grant. Mutated genome with Bud signing the tag as he was likely gone after 2020. Signing the tag was partly a formality. They can still work out a long-term deal until July 15th or whatever the date is. So that does not preclude them from doing a long-term deal, but we'll see. I think Jerry Dulac hinted that he doesn't expect Dupree to sign a long-term deal, which would probably have a decent chance, meaning he's going to walk after this year, but we'll have to see how 2020 goes. I think it's another reason why they're going to draft an edge rusher 3rd, early 4th round, basically 102 or 124 to protect themselves against the possibility that Dupree is no longer a Steeler this time next year. So I think it's going to wrap things up for me. Again, if you're on Twitter, feel free to give me a shout on there during the draft. Please enjoy it. Please stay safe. Have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great weekend, a very strange weekend, absolutely, but it is going to be fun tonight because there won't be a lot of pressure on Pittsburgh. You can kind of sit back, watch, take in all the chaos and just the history of it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have reaction videos after the draft, a lot of content, of course, on SteelersDepot.com, covering every single draft pick they do make from every single angle, as we always do. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.